and welcome back to
Unknown,
Unsolved
unseen.
Triple U.
Woohoo!
Yes. Do you have any announcements?
Oh, we didn't even say welcome back to episode 38.
Welcome back to episode 38, everybody.
I'm Frank,
I'm Sage.
and Sage is just skipping on over that part.
Yeah, I don't know. I just forgot. Here's what my beginning of my document says. Introductions, arrow to announcements to arrow to begin. So, I skipped the whole introduction part.
Well, thank you. So let me do my lovely introductions I always do.
Your
So,
announcements, you mean?
yeah, whatever. Same thing. They're on the same part. I keep mine together in my notes.
Okay, you do you, boo.
So announcements. Check the Instagram for upcoming events. The Grafton Monster Festival, Sausage Over Appalachia, and Windy City Pear Fest are all this weekend. If you are interested in going to the Windy City Pear Fest but cannot make it and want live stream tickets, those are still available, and you can use code UUU to get 10% off your live stream tickets. So if you are interested, go check the show notes because the link will be down there below the sources for today's episode. I think that's about it. And Sage, it's going to be real interesting.
What?
This is probably our first episode in the hot ass summer months. We started in September last year when things were already cooling down, so this is going to be our first summer of weirdness, where we're going to sweat while we record these damn episodes because it's so fucking hot.
Yeah, it's hot and it's humid today too because it keeps raining, and I'm so sick of the rain. Everybody,
Can it just please stop raining for like 1 moment?
like having a poodle, and it's raining all the time. Not a very great combination, everybody.
But also, just the sheer amount of rain is insane.
Yes, it is quite ridiculous. But
like we have not gotten like any relief in this rain.
No.
And today we are getting out of the car and it was raining hard and then torrential downpour.
Yeah, we're like halfway out the car and it just doubled in strength.
Yeah.
I was freaking out. But that's okay. We made it inside. We got the puppy out. He's here. How did everybody like our introduction post to the puppy? Frank did a great job with that. This is the podcast third host. Love that. I'm a big pun person, so love that.
Pretty possum too.
Yes. Yeah. So now everybody knows exactly what he looks like for when you listen. If you don't, go check out our Instagram post. Sometimes I post on the story that he's with us. This is a little bit more permanent of a post. So he's the most important member of our trio here. He's sleeping again, though. We'll see how long that lasts. Knock on wood.
So Sage, what are we talking about today? Talking about cryptids, hauntings, aliens?
None of the above.
Aliens?
No.
Disappointing.
No, today we're going to be talking about something that's unique, but I really don't know what category to put it in. Unsolved, maybe? Creepy? Weird? Not coincidental? I don't know. But today we're going to be doing a little bit of a palate cleanser because last week's episode was pretty heavy.
Is this one a palate cleanser, actually?
Well, it does have themes that could be disturbing to some listeners. We have some trigger warnings for mentions of decapitation and gruesome death, brief mentions of suicide, mentions of the Antichrist, and religious themes, and brief mention of a stillborn child in reference to the plot of the movie that we're talking about. If you are horror fans, before you continue this episode, I want you to comment, what movie do you think this is? Because that's some pretty particular things, specifically the Antichrist part. But anyway.
So we're going movies.
Today we are going to be looking at a movie.
Is it Shrek?
No.
Shrek 2?
Any of the Shreks have the Antichrist in them?
Shrek 3?
No.
Shrek 4?
Is there a Shrek 4?
For sure. Isn't Shrek 5 that's coming out?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. There's none of the 4 Shreks that are already out.
No.
Is it...
Could you let me get there?
I'm trying to make educated guesses.
Yeah, you're a horror movie film. I'm surprised that you've never seen this.
I'm sure I've never seen this. Okay, it's Killer Clowns from Outer Space, right?
No, I know you watched that.
I know that's a classic.
Mm. I do want to remind everyone that my sources will be linked in the show notes as well as the written list of trigger warnings, but I gotta be honest that there were not really any great trustworthy sources for this episode. So I'm only going off things that appear to be more like blogs. Other than the Ripley's source I used, which is like Ripley's Believe It or Not. So just take that, as you will. Today, we're going to be talking about the curse on the set of the 1976 film The Omen.
When you said decapitation, I'm pretty sure I've heard this one before.
The curse theory or
The curse theory and the stuff that happened. I haven't seen the movie.
Okay.
It also made me think of the Twilight movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know about that?
Yeah, the bad guy.
The what?
I forget what his name is.
The what guy?
Bad guy.
I have no idea. All I know is
The Volturi? The head of the Volturi decapitates.
Oh no, I'm talking about how I'm pretty sure a bunch of people died on the scene of the Twilight movie. Or sorry, the Twilight Zone movie. I don't know why I said Twilight. The Twilight Zone.
There is
movie.
decapitation in the last Twilight movie.
Yeah, I meant Twilight Zone.
Charlie?
Yeah, the Twilight
No,
Zone. That movie was marred with unfortunate events.
I don't remember Carlisle. It was started with a C. Carlisle is decapitated.
Yeah, there's a helicopter incident in what's it called? The Twilight Zone movie, like filming where 2 child actors died.
Well, that's really depressing.
Yeah, and apparently they were hired in violation. I'm just looking at it real quick, but yeah. So I don't know. That's what made me think of.
Oh. So if you are like me, and you were not familiar with this movie, because I know I've said it on here, I do not watch horror movies. Frank and I used to have this deal where every horror movie that we watched together, he would watch like a rom-com or chick flick with me. Do you know how many of those he's followed through on in our 8 years of being together? None.
No. I've watched some with you.
I've watched like 25 horror movies with you, and you've watched maybe 3 rom-coms.
They're all the same.
I don't care that they're all the same.
Rom-coms are the same.
I don't care.
Every horror movie's different.
Every single one of those rom-coms drags me in. I don't care.
They're all the same.
There's something so nice about not having to have anxiety about the ending of a film.
Anxiety? It's all fake.
You take that opinion and you shove it up your ass.
Hey, guess what? The Descent.
No, stop. Don't talk about that movie. That movie haunts my nightmares. Still to this day, and it's been like almost 4 years.
Alien. That's a good one.
I didn't like that either. Can I continue?
Atlas, we're going to have to figure out arrangements because this divorce is coming in.
Custody arrangements. So, The Omen follows Robert, an American ambassador who adopts a child after he and his wife adopt a child after his wife delivers a stillborn baby. So they decide not to try again. They decide to adopt a kid instead. Unfortunately, though, throughout the beginning of this film, Robert discovers the boy that he adopted is actually the Antichrist, named Damien, and all manner of death and misfortune surround this kid.
I'm pretty sure there's an episode of American Dad that's based off of this.
There is.
Okay, yeah, because you're telling me this. I'm the episode of American Dad.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure. Like, if you look at the Wikipedia page, it has.
I'm not going to look at for spoilers, but if you're telling me that American Dad has an episode based off this, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, the initial inspiration for The Omen came from Robert L. Munger, who was a devout Christian who was inspired by reading the Book of Revelation. And I know that I asked you this yesterday, but I'm going to ask you again. What is the Book of Revelation, Frank?
Well, I don't know the entire, what the book's about, but it's where they talk about the end of the world, the apocalypse, and all that stuff.
So, fitting for The Omen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Revelations is used in a lot of things. It's kind of a cheap usage at this point. I mean, I want to do something evil at the end of the world. Let me reference Revelations or have people spouting stuff about Revelations. I'm like, same thing. Same thing over and over. As much as I say horror is unique every time, there are tropes that are
Yeah,
brought.
fuck you. You just turned on yourself.
Hey, tropes are used multiple times. Not the entire plot line's the same every time.
It's not the same every time.
Girl likes guy doesn't like her, or vice versa. Then they realize, oh, we do love each other at the end, and they get together.
The idea for this movie
You're really ignoring that.
the intrigued producer Harvey Bernard. But when interviewed for the documentary The Omen Legacy, Bernard recalled that Munger, so the guy who came up with the idea for this movie, wanted the Omen to be warned us that the devil didn't want us to make the picture. So the guy who's like, hey, this would be a good idea for a movie, is telling people, like, actually, we shouldn't make this movie because the devil doesn't want us to. That, I feel like, was an omen for how this movie was going to go. To some degree, Munger wanted the Omen to be a Trojan horse that could potentially bring people to God, much like The Exorcist was a deeply Catholic story that reconnected author William Peter Blatty with his faith. So The Exorcist came out just a few years before this movie came out and was so wildly successful, so that that's why they believe the Omen became as successful as it was because of The Exorcist. But I'll get into that a little bit.
Oh, at that point, that type of stuff is big.
Yeah, I mean, you talk too, it's the mid to late 70s. Satanic Panic, all that jazz. So screenwriter David Seltzer took Munger's idea and created one of the most iconic horror movie scripts of all time that director Richard Donner loved immediately and decided that he just had to produce. Donner had directed television for years, but The Omen would end up being the movie that would launch his career as an A-list featured director. So he ended up having a good vision for this, and it did end up helping him. As reported in the horror history Real Terror, because again, he used a lot of blogs, Donner told Seltzer, so that's the producer telling the scriptwriter, "This puts The Exorcist to shame. It's brilliant shit. All I have to do is not fuck it up."
Did he fuck it up?
No, the movie did wildly well.
Then why don't I know shit about it?
Well,
besides the fact someone got decapitated.
Well, I don't know. I'll tell you about it, and you'll know. And indeed, with The Exorcist scaring the hell out of America just a few years earlier in 1973, and making a ton of money at the box office, many major studios were now eager to dabble in the business of evil. So they were going, let's make some more horror movies that are like The Exorcist. People want to see shit like this.
Yeah, so we make shit like Hellraiser. And I'm just thinking of something that has hell in it.
Okay. Originally, The Omen was going to be produced by Warner Bros., but they had felt that it was actually too close to the plot of The Exorcist. However, Donner was able to convince 20th Century Fox Studio to take on the screenplay. And at the time, 20th Century Fox was actually going through a drought with their movies after At Long Love and The Bluebird failed miserably at the box office. So The Omen would end up being a low-risk proposition that could be made with a smaller budget, which would mean less hemorrhaging of money and a higher profit if it did well, just like The Exorcist did.
You know what they could have also done? They could have just picked up Marvin and Me. Hit movie.
When The Omen landed at Fox, studio head Alan Ladd Jr. made it clear that the movie should be grounded in reality. In the documentary, The Omen Legacy, Seltzer recalled being told, "There must be nothing in this movie that you can't believe is actual. The whole force of this movie is the critical mass of a man's paranoia coming to be realized as actual. Every single event, every single death, could be seen as the kind of freak accident that could occur in the world."
Correction, it's Mac and Me. That's the movie I was mentioning.
Okay.
I know, random. Hit movie.
Donner would go on to add, that's the producer, "We did it on the basis of, this is the worst day of my life and nobody's going to believe what happened today. That's the way we treated the film, that in their lives these massive coincidences just happened to happen." So you might be asking yourself, or hell, asking me, Sage, why are we talking about a movie produced nearly 50 years ago?
Yeah, I'm wondering where the unknown, unsolved, unseen aspect is coming in.
Well, I will tell you.
All right, tell me.
This movie's cursed.
Bum, bum, bum.
Like hella fucking cursed. In a really sad, creepy, and downright misfortunate way.
Like cursed back then or still cursed?
the curse lives on.
So is that no to watching it here?
I don't know that it applies to people who watch it. It's more to anyone who tries to film Omen movies.
All right. Lay down the law. Tell me what's going on here.
So Gregory Peck, who played the lead role of Robert Thorne, the diplomat who adopted the Antichrist, had tragedy strike his family just 2 months before the start of filming. So he already had the role. He just hadn't started filming it. Unfortunately, his son had completed suicide, leaving behind grief and a tremendous loss. And Peck vowed to channel his grief into his performance as Robert Thorne, despite knowing that the movie contained themes of his character struggling to kill his own son, who was the Antichrist. So,
Okay.
just some sadness there.
Yeah, some interesting sadness, I'll say.
So, that would not be the only sad thing that happened to Gregory Peck, or cursed thing, I don't know. In September of 1975, sorry, I wrote 65. 1975, Peck was flying to London for filming when his plane was struck by lightning. Not unheard of course. But what was weirder was the executive producer, Mace Newfield's plane, was then also struck by lightning while en route.
Say lightning never strikes twice.
And then writer David Seltzer's plane was also struck by lightning.
They say lightning never strikes 3 times.
Yeah, and while filming in Rome, lightning narrowly missed striking producer Harvey Bernard.
Exactly, lightning
like straight up hitting him.
Lightning doesn't strike 4 times. That's what they say.
So I said, lightning may never strike twice, but 4 times, and to different people who were only 6 degrees of separation at the time. Was that reminiscent of the Omen?
No, get it right. It struck 3 times. 4th time it was a miss. So therefore, can't count it. Didn't hit him.
So here's my other funny thing. If I had a nickel for every time someone on the set of The Omen was struck by, or nearly struck by lightning, I have 4 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's definitely weird that it happened 4 times.
Do I have to make that meme?
Maybe. Also, I'm glad that I didn't do this episode before we crossed the Atlantic, because all of that was crossing the Atlantic.
Maybe Poseidon was upset at them.
Well, they didn't want this movie made. So
that thing, Poseidon or Neptune or whatever.
Yeah. There are elements in The Omen that make it believed to be cursed, as the events that play out are eerily similar to scenes from the film. In the movie, the priest that was trying to uncover the truth about Robert's son, Damien, is trying to take shelter in a closed church during a strange storm, and is impaled by the church's lightning rod after being struck by lightning.
Wait, in the movie?
In the movie.
Okay.
However, during the Omen's theatrical premiere in Rome, lightning struck a 400-year-old cross on a 16th century church. A phenomenon that is very rare, especially in the city, or in Rome. So just some weird stuff with lightning happening. I don't really know where that comes from, but thought it was interesting. Harvey Bernard reportedly said the devil was at work and he didn't want that film made. And one article I read showcased that when dealing with the topics of God and the devil, lightning could be colloquially seen as an act of God. So there was a lot of speculation that maybe all this lightning striking had to do with, no one wanting, outside forces not wanting this movie to be made. Which, after researching this, I am inclined to believe that there's an outside force that didn't want this to be made. While on the subject of planes, the instance... I know, we were not on the subject of planes, but I wrote this before I put that other part in. The incidents of being struck by lightning were not the only weird things that happened with planes. During filming, a planned filming of an action scene for The Omen was delayed, which meant that Peck was not needed on the set, the main guy. So a private jet that the crew was going to charter to bring Peck in was not necessary. The producers had reportedly got a call from the airline stating, "We have a full charter. If you let us charter out, we'll give you the plane for practically nothing." How would you interpret that? We have a full charter. If you let us charter, we'll give you practically nothing. Let us leave now, even though we're not bringing your person?
I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know plane lingo.
I don't either. Unfortunately, though, tragedy would strike this plane when it was...
Oh, no, I'm getting it now. So they have a very busy schedule. They won't charge them because they'll make up the money elsewhere, basically.
Fair.
Make sense?
Oh, that's fair. Tragedy would strike this plane when the next day it was found out that the plane that they had intended to book had hit a flock of birds during takeoff, and the engines gave out, and the plane crashed into a car after careening off the runway.
Did the plane get destroyed?
Everyone on the plane and in the car died in the crash.
Okay.
What's even sadder is that car that was crashed into was occupied by the pilot's wife and his 2 kids.
Okay, yes, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. Years later, Donner would say, "It could have been us. If we had been shooting that day, maybe it would have been us." At the time of filming, London was under attack by the Irish Republican Army. Thank you for telling me what that is.
The IRA.
But Frank, could you please give a brief explanation as to why the IRA was bombing London? As we all know, I am notoriously terrible at history.
This is going to be a very bad explanation, probably. Sorry to our UK listeners that make up 5% of our listener base right now if I do upset you, but the United Kingdom currently occupies about half of Ireland right now. There are many that want Ireland as a whole country to be its own, and the United Kingdom, Ireland had wars over it. The IRA wants Irish independence, so car bombings, attacks, terrorist attacks were not uncommon to be done by them. That's why whenever the Queen died, there were plenty of Irish people dancing in celebration that she was dead.
Oh, wow. I don't think I knew that.
There were a lot of...
that's my people.
Yeah, and that's why, our brother-in-law is not the biggest fan of the United Kingdom. And there are many Irish people, because this is still, a lot of people living today still, this is recent history.
I was going to say, this was 50 years ago.
Yeah.
People from there are still alive.
I don't know if the IRA is still operating, but, this is very recent history. So, to a lot of people, this still means a lot.
Yeah.
So, that's why I just going to say, the United Kingdom and Ireland were in conflict with each other, and Ireland, half of it, there are still many people who want their independence.
Yeah.
And also, the Irish are typically Catholics, and the United Kingdom is typically Protestant, so you also have those divisions, and it's just, it's a touchy subject for a lot of people. But that's just my generalization of it. Because we've had listeners from the United Kingdom who probably might have better feelings of it, including some who are in the part of Ireland controlled by the English.
Well, if you have certain feelings, you can let us know.
And if we say anything wrong, please let us know, because this is just not my best subject.
And this is definitely not my best subject.
I can only be a student of so much of history, so sorry to the Irish and English that I do not know the full scope of the history of your conflicts.
Yeah, I don't even know the full scope of the history of the conflicts of the United States.
I know way too much about some of those.
We have way too much happening in the 300 years we've been here.
We did so much we never should have done in the 50s to 70s that still destabilize the world today, all in the name of getting the rich richer. Yeah, Guatemalan death squads, Indonesian death squads, woo!
So, the cast and crew of the Omen were not unaffected. We're not unaffected by these bombings.
Atlas doing big stretches over here.
As they were filming in London at the time. So, reportedly, Neufeld, one of the individuals that I mentioned earlier, who was in one of the planes that was struck by lightning, had intended to eat at a restaurant that was nearby to the set, and he even had reservations at the restaurant for that evening. However, the IRA bombed the restaurant before they could get to the reservations. As Neufeld recalled in the Omen Curse or Coincidence, because there's a lot of documentaries about this, we were in the midst of the IRA bombing all over London. We had reservations at a restaurant an hour before it was blown up. The subway station was blown up as we were walking towards it.
I also just want to let you know the last IRA bombing was in 2022.
Oh, wow.
And the last IRA battle, I guess, they ended their armed campaign against the British in 2005. So I just want to let you know this is very, very recent.
Wow. Additionally, the day after filming was complete for the movie, the hotel that director Richard Donner had stayed in during his time in London was bombed by the IRA. The day after. Narrowly missing it.
Not a time to be a British person.
Not a time to be in. He's not British. He's American.
Oh yeah, but still, for all the British who actually lived there and who were
Definitely, but I just
victims,
mean like him in particular.
that was testy times, even up to 2005, and even to 3 years ago, it's still a testy time.
Yeah.
Crazy shit.
There also appeared to be a running theme of some creepy occurrences with vehicles.
Vehicular devices.
Yes. On the first day of shooting, there was a head-on collision that would injure a whole bunch of the crew members. Although thankfully no one was killed. The actor who plays the taxi driver who takes Robert Thorne around Italy, because some of this was filmed in Rome as well, because I believe he goes to the Vatican to try to talk to the Pope and cardinals or whoever are there. Again, don't come after me. I don't
The
know what I'm
Pope and
talking
the
about.
Cardinals and the other hierarchy, the upper hierarchy of the church, are within the Vatican.
Okay. He had the car door slammed on his hand by Peck, the guy who he was driving around Italy, nearly taking off his finger, and apparently the bandage from the incident is still visible in the final film cut.
I think that's just gross negligence.
Probably. But for the
I've
sake
almost
of
done that to my own hands before.
for the sake of this, we're going to say that it's not a coincidence.
Okay.
During one scene in the film, Damien's adoptive mother takes him to the zoo for what is supposed to be a pleasant and peaceful trip. However, when the two are riding in the car by the baboons exhibit, the baboons sense that they're in the presence of evil, and they freak out and attack the car. During the shot, Lee Remick, who plays the adoptive mother, couldn't work the gear shift in the car that they were in, and so she couldn't get it to keep moving through the exhibit like it was supposed to. So when the baboons were released onto the car, because they used actual baboons because they filmed this at a safari wildlife park, her reaction in the car is a genuine reaction of fear because she couldn't get away.
Do you know anything about baboons?
No.
Baboons are very aggressive animals.
Well, that makes sense. They
They are
figured out
dangerous.
they were in the presence of evil. The car was stuck while the baboons shrieked and pounded on the windows, roof, and hood of the car. And once the scene was completed and the baboons were collected, then the gear shift was suddenly working again and she could drive herself to safety. So when you watch that scene in the film, you're watching their genuine fearful like her and Damien's genuine fearful reactions. That's absolutely horrifying.
Yeah, I'm showing Sage a picture of a baboon with his teeth bared out. If you're thinking about the guy from The Lion King, that's a mandrill. Related to baboons, but not a baboon. Baboons are these.
So they're aggressive towards humans?
Baboons are aggressive animals in general.
Why?
I mean, well, first off, look at those teeth. These are hunters.
That's horrifying.
I mean, they're intelligent. They're social. They're apes. They're monkeys, and they are just, they're they are hunters, and they are omnivorous like most monkeys. But I'm just looking at a quick thing. I mean, they'll hunt small antelope. They are what's it called? I mean, you see that they're built like that. They are built strong. They're built with strong jaws, with sharp teeth. It's an animal that, if you feel threatened, especially, and they live in large troops, if you put an unknown object into their enclosure, a person in a car, if there's a person in it, and then also if the person's screaming, it's going to provoke them further. They're just going to keep attacking.
Yeah, it took a bit for them to round up all the baboons.
Yeah, I don't think that's an easy thing, because one baboon is a dangerous animal, and baboons are, like some other primates of Africa, social animals. So they live in groups, and they are scary as fuck.
Yeah, so the scene was supposed to be that the baboons would start attacking the car, and then she would drive the car away to get away from them. But she couldn't drive the car away because the gear shift was stuck. And so then she had to sit in the car until they rounded up all of the baboons. And then she could drive herself away to safety. What are your thoughts on them being in a wild safari park?
Safari parks are a bit of an iffy thing in general, but also I just looking at baboons are not inherently aggressive, but you corner an animal and you put something unknown in their environment, they will become aggressive.
That makes sense.
But a bold thing to do something like that. It makes me think of, oh my god, I gotta figure it out again. It just made me think of there's this movie that took about I think 20 years to film, where they just had a bunch of like wild like animals like big cats and bears and shit on their like property, and it just kept filming all like for 20 years, and there's real no plot to it, and sometimes the animals just attacked the people and almost killed them.
What?
I'll have to show you this after.
I was like, you figure that out while I continue. So the baboon scene was filmed. Okay, I tried to say that word and I thought of this hilarious scene. So there's another podcast. I know we mentioned Morbid on here a lot, but this is actually not us mentioning Morbid. This is us mentioning The Basement Yard with Joe and Frank. And there's a scene where there's like one episode where Joe cannot pronounce the word baboon.
How do you not pronounce the word baboon?
I forget I don't know. I'll have to show it to you then because it's freaking hilarious. But he just like couldn't. It took him like 5 tries to figure out what he was supposed to say. And he goes, "Oh, baboon! Oh my god!" But it was very funny. But so this was filmed at the Windsor Wild Safari Park, and it wasn't the only scene that was filmed there. There was another scene filmed there that involved lions, though that did not end up in the final cut of the film. The reason I mention this is that unfortunately, one of the guards in the zoo would end up being killed by 2 of the lions who snuck into his guard booth after the door was left open after filming.
Sorry, say that last part again. I found the movie. It's called Roar. It's released in 1981. And I think it started in 1969 to filming.
That's stupid.
Yeah, it's I'll have to show you this, but this is actually like literally fucking insane what happened.
Okay. One of the guards in the zoo would end up being killed by 2 of the lions after they snuck into his guard booth when the door was left open when filming was done.
That's a pretty awful way to go, and yikes.
Yeah.
How long after the movie?
I think it was just like within 2 weeks.
Okay.
2
lions will do that to you.
Wasn't the only one.
Did somebody else get killed there?
Yes. The animal handler, the zookeeper, who helped with that baboon scene at the zoo, was then eaten alive by a lion 2 weeks after the completion of the film.
Look, if you have 2 people getting killed by lions, you probably have some serious safety concerns. And if you're doing a safari that just let you unleash a bunch of baboons on a car, I won't take a guess that the place was not very well run. And if you look at a lot of stuff back then, there's a lot of wildlife parks, even still today, that are run very poorly.
Yeah, just look at Tiger King.
Honestly, I was going to say, we were talking about that at work yesterday. And I was going to say, you and I should watch Chimp Crazy. Or the 2nd season, 3rd season of Tiger King, because I've only seen 1st season.
We should totally watch that. I think I've seen both the 1st and 2nd season.
After this, you want to watch them?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'll do my research on my next episode.
Okay.
We can keep this in here, too.
Those are not the only animals that had issues. There was also a scene with Rottweilers. So you know what that is, right?
Yeah.
The dog. And reportedly, one of them that was used for filming went berserk unexpectedly and attacked stuntman Terry Walsh. While the dog bit through his protective gear, he was fortunately unharmed, but no one could figure out what set the dog off. I would like to point out that, unfortunately, there is the stereotype that Rottweilers are very aggressive dogs because they make incredible guard dogs.
They're muscular dogs.
I was like, you see them in every movie ever guarding places they don't want people to go or whatever because they're big, they're muscular, and they're scary.
Yeah, not every dog grows the same. Like our little boy here. He's going to be a tall boy.
Yeah.
He's actually not even a little boy. He's only 7. He's about to be 7 months old, and he is a big dog doing big dog shit.
I'm a big dog doing big dog shit. They don't have as bad of a reputation as pit bulls do, unfortunately, because I'm a believer that it's how there is some inherent aggressiveness in dogs because they're an animal, right? A hunting animal. But it is also how they're raised. So reportedly, this was very unexpected for this dog to have that kind of reaction, and that it hadn't had a reaction like that before. So they don't know what set it off, but it was while it was on set for filming that this dog went crazy and hit the guy. So, I don't know.
So let's keep. How many more weird coincidences we have here?
I'm on the last one.
Is this the
This is,
decapitation
yeah.
that we haven't gotten to yet? How gory is this for our listeners?
I don't go into too much detail. I just really mentioned that someone
Okay.
was decapitated. So the most haunting story, at least in my opinion, to come out of the filming of The Omen, didn't actually happen during the shoot, but during the production of another film, which was a World War II epic titled A Bridge Too Far. John Richardson was the special effects designer. Was the special effects designer.
Diner.
Yeah, for
Have we been to that diner yet? I love going to diners.
for The Omen, and was assisted by Liz Moore, or she was his girlfriend, or maybe both. Different sources said girlfriend or assistant, but either way, they were driving together through the Netherlands, and along the way were involved in a very horrific car accident. Richardson was lucky to escape with minor injuries, but unfortunately, Moore would be decapitated by a tire that smashed into their car and killed her instantly.
That is terrible.
This in and of itself is horrific and very tragic. But what's truly harrowing is that Richardson was responsible for the creation of the decapitated head of Keith Jennings, who was a photographer who was helping Robert Thorne, the main character, research the origin of Damien. Jennings killed when he is decapitated by a sheet of glass that falls off of a construction vehicle while the construction vehicle was reversing down the hill where he was crouched at the bottom. So this guy had just, a couple months earlier, had to put together a decapitated head for a scene, and then also had to witness his girlfriend assistant be decapitated.
That's not ideal.
Horrifying.
That's pretty bad.
And supposedly, after the crash, Richardson reported that he had seen a street sign not long before the accident that said Omen 66.6 kilometers.
That's a freak thing.
Yeah. Roughly, this was indicating they were roughly 66.6 kilometers away from the town of Omen, which is spelled, in this case, Ommen. This to me is hard because are there going to be street signs that say 0.6?
Not to that place, but like you'll say like 60 miles to whatever, and then on the side there will be like for in America the mile marker like then 60, 60.1, 60.2, 60 point whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if that's set up like that there or not. But this incident occurred after The Omen had wrapped production, but many, of course, linked it to the evil aura of the film. And if that wasn't creepy enough, the accident occurred on August 13th, 1976.
Was it a Friday?
Mm-hmm. I was just going to say Friday, August 13th.
Yeah, this upcoming Friday is the only Friday the 13th in the year.
Ooh, is it really?
Yeah. I only know that because of the Windy City Parafest.
I'm seeing clients that day, and I had one client who's like nervous to drive. So I think I'm seeing her via telehealth.
Because of the 13th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, girl, I understand.
Yeah, fair enough.
I get it. So as I stated previously, and as the crew were warned, the devil was at work, and he did not want that film made.
The devil will do what I guess you gotta do. I don't. You know how to stop the devil? Send the Slayer to hell.
Okay.
The game Doom I'm playing.
Good for you.
You don't even pay attention when I play the game, do you?
No, it's really gory.
And this morning I was in hell killing a bunch of demons looking for the Prince of Hell.
Frank, I live my own hell.
Well, I play video games.
You want to slay my devil for me?
Sure, if I could. If I could send the Slayer there where it can rip and tear until it's done, yeah.
Solve my vitamin B deficiency.
He'll go look for the vitamin B deficiency demon and it'll rip his head off.
I
Like the
think,
vitamin B12 deficiency demon, and it'll kill him.
yeah, heck yeah.
Look, he's killed the Prince of Hell, the Dark Lord, the the Cyber Mind or whatever, the Cyber Demon, the Spider Mastermind. I mean, you name it, he's killed all them demons. Even the Icon of Sin.
Okay. Like I said earlier, when 21st Century Fox took over the screenplay, they had been alerted, like that. What I meant by what I said earlier is that 21st Century Fox took it over, but they were alerted to all of the terrible incidents that plagued the filming of the show, like during the filming. And as we all know, the saying, there's no such thing as bad press, right?
For some reason, I thought you were going to say all roads lead to Rome.
No.
I don't know why you said, you know what they say. And I'm like, Rome was in this. All roads
Rome
lead.
wasn't built in a day.
All roads lead to Rome.
Yeah. Well, Fox took this saying literally and saw the creepy occurrences as a great way to gain publicity for the film and hype up consumers. They even put a tagline into the film's ad campaign that stated, "You have been warned. If something frightening happens to you today, think about it. It may be the Omen."
Wow, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. So The Omen ended up being released on June 25th, 1976. And boy, did Fox's efforts work. It ended up being one of the biggest films of the year, racking in about $60 million worldwide, which, if I did my math correctly, and by that I mean I Googled it, it would be a whopping $341 million.
Whew.
And
I cut that?
and the production of the film cost $2.8 million then, or a little over $11 million today. So $11 million to produce it, like in today's money, with a $341 million turnaround. That's a, like, what, 3,000% profit? Something crazy like that?
That's a good profit, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. And thanks to the success of The Omen, its funding gave Fox the money that they needed to complete a little thing called Star Wars, which was due to be released the following summer.
So because this happened,
Fox gained the money
to make Star Wars.
Yeah, they had been very much struggling, and The Omen pulled them out of the pit of struggle and allowed them to have the profits and the money and the budget to be able to make Star Wars.
So because of this, because this movie, now we got Star Wars, we got Star Wars memes, we got movies where people get crazy whenever your most random character, Glup Shitto, will come on the screen and go wild. Still love that Glup Shitto meme.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay, I believe you.
You don't understand random ass memes. I do.
No.
But so that's a crazy that this caused all the fucking Star Wars.
I was gonna say, like, think of the ripple effect that this movie then had.
The ripple effect Star Wars itself has had on the world.
Yeah, I don't even like Star Wars. Sorry to everyone out there who likes it, but like, I mean,
it's hit or miss on every single piece of media in it.
You can't deny that it's one of, if not the largest franchise. Like,
the money behind it, the money it generates,
Star Wars and Harry Potter, I feel like, are two, and Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings.
Game of Thrones power significantly diminished after they made a shit season, and then George R. R. Martin ain't make it. I don't think he's making that any more books on it, which is stupid as hell. And on top of it, instead he's parading around these fake dire wolves.
Yeah.
Then if for anyone who wants to fight me, those are fake dire wolves. Fight me on that.
You can fight Frank.
You're in Sage. She'll back me up.
Yeah, you can give him a call at 717. Those aren't real dire wolves.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for giving my area code.
What are people gonna do with 717?
I don't know. We've already mentioned that we are in this area.
I was gonna say that's a Pennsylvania area code. Like, it is what it is. So with its success, it's no surprise that sequels were immediately in the queue. So in 1978, Damien, The Omen 2, was released with the tagline of, "The first time was only a warning."
The Omen 2 Electric Boogaloo?
Sure. Once again, the studio was looking for weird incidents that they could use to the film's advantage. Lance Henriksen recalled during the Damien movie shoot that a memo was circulated among the cast and crew to report anything weird or odd happening to them so that they could use it for publicity.
At this point, you're losing the eeriness
The wow
of it.
fact, yeah. Henriksen would be quoted as saying, "My bullshit detector picked up. Harvey Bernard was constructing mythology." Which, like, I agree with. Like, I mean, at that point, you're asking people to make shit up, and it takes away the, like,
Yeah.
suspension of
Anything
it.
after that, I'm going to think is not an accident. Like someone's going to break in with a baseball bat, break somebody's leg, and be like, "Oh, freak accident happened. Woo!
Yeah.
Paid my buddy $50 to break this guy's legs."
Yeah. Then, in 1981, The Omen: The Final Conflict was released, in which Damien's finally defeated. And then there's another sequel called The Omen 4: The Awakening, which was then released in 1991.
They made 4 of these.
They made more than that. John Moore's 2006 remake of the film also got some residual curse mojo. For Moore's remake, they lost 13,500 feet of film, which contained the scene where Damien's 666 birthmark is revealed. The lab had no idea what happened and were reportedly in tears over the matter.
So he just has a birthmark in the film that has 666 on it.
Yeah.
That just sounds stupid. I have literal numbers as my birthmark.
Yeah. The most that had ever been lost before was 400 feet of film, which is one roll. So they lost 13,500 feet of film.
Do they know how they lost it?
Mm-mm. Says this is outrageous and unexplainable. And this I took this quote from one of the blogs just because I thought it was written interestingly. In another case of the devil just playing with these chess pieces as they try to make the film. The actor who played Father Brennan in the remake, Pete Postlethwaite, had his brother die during filming. What is supposedly crazy about that is he was playing a card game the week prior and drew a combination of 3 6s.
Suspicious.
Mm-hmm. In 2016, there was a television series called Damien that was in development at the Lifetime Network before it was moved to A&E with Bradley James starring in the title role. The series aired from March 7th to May 9th in 2016. It's very short. The series acting as a direct sequel to the original film, so the original Omen, 1976, follows 30-year-old Damien, who has forgotten his demonic past and is now facing the world. And Anne Rutledge, who...
Sounds like a sitcom at that point.
Yeah. I don't know. He knows his identity as the Antichrist. And so Anne Rutledge, who is a character in the movie that protected Damien all of his life, helps him to embrace his Antichrist side in that TV show. In 2024, so just last year, the first Omen was released. And it's about an American nun who is sent to work at a Catholic orphanage in Rome who uncovers a sinister conspiracy to bring about the birth of the Antichrist. So it's, the prequel to the first movie. So it's supposed to indicate that there's like this whole conspiracy theory within the Catholic Church to bring the Antichrist alive. The Antichrist ends up being Damien, and then he gets adopted, and yada yada. Go from there. It was apparently good because it has an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. Right? The higher it is on Rotten.
Decent, yeah.
It didn't receive nearly the same financial success as its predecessor, though, as it only racked in about $54 million at the box office.
For a budget of...
I didn't know what the budget is. I didn't look up what the budget was. But even then, like, in today's money, the original Omen made $341 million.
Yeah.
So, this is like almost a sixth of that. So, that is what I have for you today on the curse of the set of The Omen. What are your thoughts?
I think it's quite some peculiar happenings, and it's quite interesting. However, sorry about that. Atlas just took the charger out of my laptop.
He's rolling around. He's sleeping, but he's rolling around.
Yeah, he's rolling around in the wires. But I I think it's peculiar everything that happened with the first one. Everything after is kind of, I think, manufactured, but the first one, I don't know. You could chalk it up to something peculiar happened or freak coincidences.
Yeah. I think it's just too bizarre to be just coincidences.
Yeah.
Like I believe in one's, like I wrote, like I believe in one's ability to choose. I believe in one's ability to choose their own destiny and fate. But I also think that there's just some stuff that we can't control in life. And clearly something or someone did not want this film to be made.
I'm
Let alone have multiple sequels and a prequel made as well.
Yeah, I'm 50-50. I mean, Occam's razor, most likely thing to happen. It's just freak coincidence. But at the same time, I'm more of a religious person, so I can see, the
The
what.
concern behind making a movie that's
Yep.
directly talking about the Antichrist. And then filming in Rome.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I get it, because, like, they were going to the Catholic Church to, discuss what was going on. But,
I like the American Dad version the best.
Can you tell us about it?
Haley adopts a kid. I think his name is Damien. He is the Antichrist. Yeah. At one point, they go to the old orphanage and they find his old file. It's a picture of him with his dad, and his dad is, like, literally the devil.
It's definitely funny.
And they don't want him to die. Haley doesn't want him to die because he is even though he's the Antichrist, he still is her adopted son.
Yeah, I think that's honestly very similar to the film.
Yeah. If people are looking for other similar-ish things, if you're ever looking for a book, I just read Black Sheep by Rachel Harrison, Antichrist type stuff. Good book.
Oh yeah.
Very different though.
So I think I was going, okay, as someone who, hates horror movies, I was going to say that I'd be willing to watch this one for the sake of the fact that we did an episode of the podcast on it. However, it's not available on any streaming service. The only way that you can get it is to rent it or buy it.
Well,
and I'm afraid to spend the money.
Yeah, I don't want to spend money. I'm a cheapo.
It's not even that I'm cheap. It's that I'm not willing to spend a couple dollars and, like, have whatever bad juju is connected to it brought into my home. If it was free, I would feel less weird about it.
Now, we can watch the American Dad version.
We could watch the American Dad version, although I'm not a cartoon person, really. So, I feel like I've offended so many people in this episode today.
Yeah. You should still watch the American Dad version.
Okay. Aren't we watching Tiger King after this?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is what I have for you on the curse on the set of the Omen.
I thought that was very interesting. But also, how did you even find this topic?
If I recall, I'm pretty sure that Morbid did an episode on it.
Okay. I was just curious, because I know you sometimes have trouble finding topics.
Yeah, let me look up. It looks like it was under an episode titled Curses from April 24th, 2023. And so it was actually a shorter episode for them. So they did The Curse of Micah Rood. I don't remember what that one is. And The Omen. So it says, today we're looking at curses. We talk about the curse of Micah Rood and his bloody apples, which stems from murder, execution, and haunting. And then we get into the truly real, fatal, and terrifying events surrounding the production of the horror film, The Omen. Deaths, plane crashes, and bombings. Was it really the wrath of the devil or something else entirely?
You know what? I'll have to show you. I think I have a book that talks about this, which is why I was kind of familiar with some stuff.
Really?
Yes.
That's surprising. But that's really cool.
I'll show it to you after.
Okay. But that's what I got. So thanks for listening, everybody. I hope that this was, for people who listened to last week's episode, or if you didn't, welcome if you didn't. I hope that this was, a decent palate cleanser. Obviously, there was some morbid stuff in there, but, definitely different than topics we've done before. But I figured we could all use a little bit of a break from the truly horrifying after the unfortunate individual that we discussed in last week's episode.
Alice just got up and started looking happy. I think he realizes we're wrapping up. He probably doesn't really. He's just being a goober. But I'm going to hit us with the wrap-up stuff, if you're good with that.
Yep, take it away.
So if you guys are enjoying the podcast on whatever you're on, please like, review, comment, rate on whatever you're at. Every little bit helps us. We really appreciate all of it. And, if you're liking it, keep coming back. Share the podcast. Follow us on our Instagram and Blue Sky. Check us out wherever you find podcasts. And yeah, keep supporting us. I might actually put our email on this episode. So if you guys have anything interesting, you can email us or you can message us on social media. And also, this is the last time I'm going to be saying this. If you are interested in attending the Windy City Pear Fest remotely on the live stream, go to the link in the bio in our show notes or in the bio of our Instagram and go use code UUU for 10% off your live stream tickets. We really appreciate all you guys do for us, and if any of you guys are looking there, we really appreciate that. A portion of the proceeds go towards Greater Than Hate, a really great nonprofit.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing how that all comes together this weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for them.
Yep, and I think that is about it. So, Sage,
Mhm.
ready for the sign off?
Yep.
And remember,
To look for
the unknown,
the unsolved,
and the unseen.
You have been warned. If something frightening happens to you today, think about it. It may be the Omen.
Blame Sage, not me. Bye.
Bye.